morning.
Good morning, Rangada. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Everybody. Tuesday is Pallavi's day. If she is with the text, she can read.
Yes, Rangada.
Yes,
Shall I
okay.
start?
Yeah. You can start. There is a greater consciousness.
This is the greater consciousness into which our inferior consciousness has to be transformed. This nature of the ignorance, with its unquiet, unbalanced activity of the three modes, change into this greater luminous super nature. At first, we become free from the three gunas, detached, untroubled, Nishchaya guna. But this is the recovery of the native state of the soul, the self, the spirit free and watching in its motionless calm, the motion of Prakriti in her force of the ignorance. If on this basis the nature, the motion of Prakriti is also to become free, it must be by quiescence of action in a luminous peace and silence in which all necessary movements are done without any conscious reaction or participation or initiation of action by the mind or by the life being, without any ripple of thought or eddy of the vital parts. It must be done under the impulsion, by the initiation, by working of an impersonal cosmic or a transcendent force. A cosmic mind, life, substance must act, or a pure transcendent self-power and bliss other than our own personal being or in building of nature. This is a state of freedom which can come in the yoga of works through renunciation of ego and desire and personal initiation and the surrender of being to the cosmic self or to the universal Shakti. It can come in the yoga of knowledge by the cessation of thought, the silence of the mind, the opening of the whole being to the cosmic consciousness, to the cosmic self, the cosmic dynamis, or to the supreme reality. It can come in the yoga of devotion by the surrender of the heart and the whole nature into the hands of the all blissful as the adored master of our existence. But the culminating change intervenes by a more positive and dynamic transcendence. There is a transference or transmutation into a superior spiritual status, Trigunatita, in which we participate in a greater spiritual dynamization. For the three lower unequal modes pass into an equal triune mode of eternal calm, light and force, the repose, kinesis, illumination of the divine nature.
Okay, so what we'll do, first we'll read the summary of the previous para so that we get the background of what he's saying. Then we will continue with the what we are doing. Okay, so summary 15. Okay, let me see here in my habit. Yeah. So, Shamna is saying in the previous para, I'm reading out the summary. Okay, so he's saying, in this new condition of liberated soul, as well as liberated nature, the disharmony of the three modes of nature, gunas, are crossed, left behind, and a new threefold higher nature comes to be experienced. The three lower modes are transformed into their diviner higher modes, para prakriti. Okay? In other words, he'll tell you what is happening. Tamas, the body, the mode of inactivity and inertia, is now replaced by divine peace and eternal tranquility of rest. When you are not moving, then there can be two things. Either you are not moving by control and fully positive, or it could be laziness. At our normal level, it would be laziness. But at the higher level, the tamas is becoming divine peace. So it's full of energy, but you have the capacity not to move, not to unnecessarily make any movement. Okay? So I made a note. This is not an absence of unrest, but a positive calm of glad peace. Okay? Now, out of this immutability is released an effective action based on knowledge. So in other words, when you go to the Higher level, he is not specifying exactly which higher level, but normally it comes only at the overmind level minimum. Okay, then the stability of the tamas becomes peace of the Lord. Okay, it's a positive condition. It's not a negative condition. Then rajas. What does rajas become? Rajas, the restless, disturbed energy, is substituted by a controlled power, an infinite force, which no vehemence of action can shake or disturb the soul. You are not going to be disturbed at all. So much energy is there, but it's a fully controlled and calm, quiet energy. Okay? Normally at our level, the vital is very restless, and it is, you cannot control the vital, it will control you. But this is at the higher level, it becomes absolutely peace, calm peace, and the soul is absolutely in charge of it. Okay, it is completely controlling it. So now he says, nor can the vast, profound heavenly peace be stained or polluted. Okay, this is what happens at the highest level. The next is sattva. What does sattva become? Sattva is now flooded with light and bliss, which is identical with soul substance, which has inherent, authentic knowledge deriving straight from the omniscience above. The omniscience above is the supermind. The mind, whose action in the lower level was only understanding by constructed thoughts. All our thoughts are constructions. Now it is replaced by luminous, self-existent truth. This is what he said in the previous. He is describing the condition where it's not only you have not got release, but you have also got control of your lower nature. Okay? So now we'll read the para that we read just now. This is a greater consciousness into which our inferior consciousness has to be transformed. Inferior consciousness, our normal condition of mind, life, body, normal condition. This is a greater consciousness into which our inferior consciousness has to be transformed. This nature of the ignorance, with its uninquired, unbalanced activity of the three modes, the body, vital and mind, are absolutely, there is no balance at all, and they are always quarreling with each other. We don't normally see that, but if you look very carefully, you will see the mind is not agreeing with the vital is not agreeing with the body, nor the mind is agreeing with both. And ego also is there, which is agreeing with none of these. This is an unbalanced condition. Okay? This has to change into a great and luminous supernature. At first, we become free from the three gunas. There is a normal release. Okay? You get released from the three gunas. Then what does it mean? It means that your soul, which is trapped in the body, mind, life, the prison, which is mind, it comes out. It is no more. The consciousness of the soul, which is the same, comes out of your body, mind, life, stands above the head. Okay? And it is now free. It has achieved freedom, mukti. That's what he's saying. At first, we become free from the three gunas, detached. We are not at all influenced by the body, mind, life. Untroubled. Nisray gunya. We have gone beyond the gunas. Gunas means, to make it very concrete, body, mind, life. We are not identified with your body, mind, life at all. But this is the recovery of the native state of the soul. This is actually what the soul should be. And that's what happens. Okay? The self, the spirit, free and watching in its motionless calm, the motion of Prakriti. This is the first. You are above the body, mind, life, and now you are watching, you are the witness, you are the Sakshi, and you are watching. What are you watching? You are watching all the movement of the body, vital, and mind. The movement in the mind is thoughts. Thoughts are occurring, but you are not the thinker. Vital emotions are occurring in the body, in the vital, but you are not experiencing them. You are above, watching quietly. The body is moving and acting like a somnambulism, some sleepwalking. It is doing everything. Why? Because you are not motivating the body. The body is being operated by universal nature. Nature is making, just like it, universal nature is making the tree grow, But the tree doesn't think that I am growing because it doesn't have an ego. But because we have an ego, we feel that we are growing, we are moving, we are acting, we are thinking. But that's not true. Okay? So this is what you see when you are in a level 2, you are a witness, Sakshi, and you are calmly looking at your body mind life, continuing the old habit and old nature. Okay? You are watching me.
Rangata,
Yes, tell me.
one question. Then what is
Yeah.
the difference between the tree and us at that stage?
The tree is being moved and it is consciousness at a very low level. Okay? But at our level, the consciousness is more. It is very imperfect, but it is more. But the difference is that the tree doesn't have an ego and you have an ego. That's the only difference.
So when we become,
Yeah.
when we come, this is Nitraya Guna, then ego
Yeah.
is there, right?
Then what?
Ego is there.
No,
We
no.
are above
The ego is
the
not there
gunas,
in the
but the ego is
consciousness.
there.
The ego is not there in the consciousness. You are the soul. The soul is watching the body mind life. You are not the body mind life anymore. Okay? It's him. Ego is in the mind and you have come out. Okay? You are the mental Purusha. You have come out. There is no ego. That is the reason why you are free.
That-
If the ego was there, you wouldn't be free. The ego
No,
is there
Rangata,
only.
Then it is
Rangata,
same as the tree. Tree also doesn't have an ego. We won't have an ego.
Who?
The tree and us.
Huh?
When we don't have an
Yeah.
ego, then we become
Now,
like a tree.
no, no, no. What about the consciousness? The consciousness is much, much lower in a tree. Na? It's almost a physical vital consciousness. You are in a mental consciousness, mental
Okay.
vital consciousness, much higher.
Okay.
what happens to a baby? Say a 3-month-old baby. Will it have ego or a
Ah,
6-month-old baby?
that's an interesting question. And yeah, very similar, I should say. Because the mind is not yet developed and there is no ego in the baby, newborn baby, there is no ego. The ego comes in with the conditioning of the mind. Okay? When the mind is being programmed slowly with experience, then the ego starts coming in. Very often, children, even when they are quite old, 5, 6, 7, okay, they are not so much egoistic. The ego comes in more and more with the development of the mind. Sremno says very clearly that the ego is there even at the atomic level, but it is really in the mind that the ego is there. It's a mind. Even the vital is an ego, but it's a much, much lesser level of ego. Even the animal has an ego, yeah? But the ego is at a very, very low level of egoism. It is there in the animal because they will jealous, they will also fight for their food, they're conscious of their separate existence, conscious in a very, very, very diluted manner. Okay, so that's the
Rangata,
difference. Yeah,
Rangata,
tell me.
I remember Sri Aurobindo said, I think it's one of his like night talk or something. He said, for me, ego is only remained in my body, not in others. So how do you understand that?
I didn't exactly follow Sunti the question. You are,
She said, the Shrivindu said the ego has remained in his body, but not in the other parts of this being.
but right, okay, but it is very, very at a very at a body level. Okay, the body also has a consciousness, but it's at a body level. Body level, the consciousness is very low. Okay, there is a consciousness in the body, there is a consciousness in the vital, and there is a consciousness also in the mind. But the mind, there is an ego in that sense. In that sense, the sense of separateness is there. But you are not the ego consciousness. I understand what Suki is saying. So there is a very similarity with what just now Yasmin said, that like a baby, but the comparison was with the baby and the tree. Okay, not with the baby and the human being. The developed human being, even when your soul has come out, the ego would probably be there. You have to actually experience it and see. The ego disappears in the consciousness. Your consciousness is at level 1, level 2, sorry, of the spiritual planes, and there is no ego. But some sort of ego would probably be there in the body mind life.
Dada, in our this little understanding, can we compare that this calmly watching this nature of the Prakriti, the activities of the Prakriti, just like the CCTV is capturing our movement, and we are just watching that this mold is moving, this mold is doing all these activities. Like that, we can compare that witness self.
Compare with what?
Just CCTV is capturing our movement and everything. Just
Yes,
like in that just physical level, we are just a little comparison. Can we think like that?
The comparison is absolutely perfect. That is exactly what happens, because the camera is not, there is no emotion in the camera. It is just seeing things as they are. So the comparison is absolutely perfect. Okay, that's exactly what happens. So just imagine the camera is not showing any thought, any reaction. It is not having any emotion, and that is exactly what happens in the witness consciousness. Okay, when you get symbolic dreams, symbolic visions, this is what happens. It is shown as a camera, which is absolutely without any reaction or reception of anything. It is just calmly recording things. Absolutely perfect.
Ranganath,
Yeah.
if the body doesn't have that little bit of ego, then we won't be able to do this karma yoga, no? Because it has to have that sense of separation to do that thing.
No, karma yoga question doesn't even arise when you are in the witness consciousness. The karma yoga is you are doing work for the divine. But when you escape from the body mind life, the question of karma yoga doesn't even arise. It comes on later on. It's a different, like Swami is describing here, the soul going out into the level 2, the witness self. The witness self is a totally different experience.
Yes, witness self is, but if the body doesn't have that ego, like Sunki said, no, Aurobindo said that there is the little bit of the body ego. That way.
I've understood your question. When you are a karma yogin, the ego may not be there, but it is replaced, the control is replaced by the divine will. That is karma yoga. You are not acting with your own will and your own ego, but you are acting according to the dictates of the divine will. They take over.
But then that body's separation, sense of separation is there, no, of the body?
Sense of separation is not in the body. It's in the consciousness.
Okay.
In the ego. So who is feeling the separation?
The body. And if he is doing the thing according to the higher powers, then he has that sense of separation, no?
He is only an instrument.
So that instrument has that sense of separation, no?
Does the spoon or the screwdriver have a sense that I am separate from the man operating me?
But that he is that screw and driver is not conscious, whereas the body is conscious, right?
Very low level.
That is
at a very low level. The body consciousness is at a very low level. Almost automatic.
Okay.
In fact, not almost, it is automatic. Okay, I told you, like the body consciousness, I gave you examples, just remember. When you are coughing, it's a body consciousness. But are you saying mentally that, and does the body think that I am having coughing? I am having a cough? No. Or I told you also other things also. When you are, what about the kidneys functioning? What about the digestion functioning? These are all the body consciousness.
Okay.
The consciousness is something variable. As it keeps going up and up, it becomes more and more conscious. But as it keeps coming down, okay, the consciousness starts becoming less and less and less and less. Okay. I told you, I gave very interesting examples of the body consciousness. When you get a cut, the body knows that this is, but knows at a very low level, not mental level. It knows that this is harmful. It immediately repairs itself. It coagulates the blood and seals the wound. Okay. This is a very good example of body consciousness. Another example which I gave you, and you can observe next time when you are eating, the movements of your tongue. Okay.
Yes.
It goes into the corners of your mouth and fishes out food stuck there. This is absolutely not a mental consciousness at all. It's a body consciousness. You're not doing it consciously. The tongue is doing it. Or when a fly sits on the body of a cow or a horse, the horse actually uses its tail to drive away the fly. This is also body consciousness.
Okay.
Body consciousness is very low level. Okay? So, let's get back to our text. What's the time? 25. We have 15 minutes. Yeah. So, I now come to the next sentence. I just read first. At first, we become free from the three gunas. Okay? Detached, untroubled, nisraiguni. But this is the recovery of the native state of the soul, the self, the spirit, free and watching in its motionless calm the motion of Prakriti in her force of the ignorance. No, the Prakriti is in the ignorance. Okay? So, if on this basis, the nature, motion of Prakriti is also to become free, which is the ideal, okay? Even the body, mind, life must become free. That means you are in control of it. It must be by a quiescence of action in a luminous peace and silence in which all necessary movements are done without any conscious reaction or participation or initiation of action by the mind or the life being without any ripple of thought or eddy of the vital parts. It must be done under the impulsion, by the initiation, by the working of an impersonal cosmic or a transcendent force. So what Sunday is saying is exactly what we discussed just now. The body-mind life is going on, but it is being operated not by your mental will, but by the universal force. And there also, he is saying something very interesting. He is saying it can be universal force or it can be an impersonal cosmic. Okay. So the cosmic spirit may be activating your body-mind life. You are not doing it. You are not doing it. It's a active consciousness in the cosmos or the force. The force is even less conscious. The cosmic spirit is slightly more conscious. You could be, there's a gradation between the two. Okay. Then, a cosmic mind, life, substance must act, or a pure transcendent self-power and bliss other than our own personal being or its building of nature. So, if the body-mind life also has to become perfect like Sremdo wants, the first stage is that the nature must take it over and it is other than your own. It's not your own personal being. This is a state of freedom which can come in the yoga of works through renunciation of ego and desire and personal initiation and the surrender of the being to the cosmic self or the universal Shakti. There you are. So in the exactly Karma Yoga what we are discussing, it is possible when you lose your ego entirely and the universal nature is activating your body, but it can be two things. It can be the cosmic self or the universal Shakti. The cosmic self is consciousness, so there is a universal consciousness which is activating the body, which is slightly better than the universal force. The universal force is nature. The nature is already activating us, but we think that we are doing. That's the only difference. But the ego disappearing, universal nature continues to activate your body-mind life. Okay? It can come in the yoga of knowledge by the cessation of thought, the silence of the mind, the opening of the whole being to the cosmic consciousness. So in Jnana Yoga, you make your mind silent and your consciousness rises to the self. And in Karma Yoga, you get rid of your ego and then your consciousness can rise to the self. Because in Karma Yoga, you are doing things for the Lord, not for yourself. So when you are doing for the Lord and not for yourself, the yourself becomes less and less and less and less. And the Lord becomes more and more and more and more. So therefore, you become an instrument of the Lord. But in the beginning, it is not the Lord, it is the cosmic consciousness which is doing, which is activating you. Okay? It can come in the devotion. Now, third one. It can come in the yoga of devotion by the surrender of the heart and the whole nature into the hands of the all blissful as the adored master of our existence. So he is telling you 3 ways to go to the self. The first one in the Karma Yoga, get rid of your ego. And that is possible because the method of Karma Yoga is you are doing everything for the divine, not for yourself. So yourself becomes less and less. Then in the Jnana Yoga, you can go to the self by silencing the mind. Okay? And in the Bhakti Yoga, by surrender. Surrender to the divine through your heart by emotion. And whatever is happening, don't start fretting and fuming and revolting. Take it calmly, quietly, as though it's coming from the Lord. That will give you the release. That's what Shri said. But then finally, okay, the culminating change is when you become absolutely an instrument in the hands of the divine. The culminating change intervenes by more positive and dynamic transcendence. You have to go to the third level, not the second level. The more positive and dynamic transcendence. There is a transference or transmutation into a superior spiritual status, Trigunatita, in which we participate in a greater spiritual dynamization. The witness self can become dynamic, but it remains in the spiritual planes of consciousness. Okay? And then when you go above, the greater participation comes from the greater spiritual dynamization is only at the third level, the supermind. Okay? For the 3 lower unequal modes pass into an equal triune mode of eternal calm, light and force, the repose, kinesis, illumination of the divine nature. The lower nature, apara prakriti, becomes the para prakriti. It puts on the nature of the divine. That's what Sri will say. Okay, so we have still 8 minutes left. We can read the next one. So you understood. Sri is describing here 3 conditions. Actually 4 conditions if you want. The first condition is our normal condition. We are not free and we are not conscious that we are not the doer. We feel that we are the doer. This is state number 1. State number 2, either through any of the yogas, your consciousness rises to the spiritual plane of consciousness, okay, and you become the witness. When you become the witness, you are not identified with the body-mind life, and the body-mind life continues with its old habits, and this is the second one. But if you rise slightly higher in the spiritual plane of consciousness, like going to the illumined mind or even the intuitive mind, then a little bit of control comes. And then the universal, the cosmic consciousness can activate the body-mind life. Still, that is not bad. Some amount of control over the body-mind life comes when you rise from the higher mind to the illumined mind and the intuitive mind. Even the overmind, you can go up to there, you have some control over the body-mind life. But the total dynamization, the total body-mind life and soul becoming an instrument of the divine, perfect instrument, can come only at the supramental stage, which is the third stage. which you can call either the Purushottama, or you can call it the Supermind, or you can also call it uh, the, the Ishwar. Srivanga calls it the Ishwar. Okay, so we can read the next one.
Dada,
Yes, tell me.
can we relate distinctively that this is the aspects of drashta, anumanta, bhokta, is these
Yes.
concepts to
Yes.
the state, to the states of the different level of these minds, mind level, the spiritual minds level? Can we
Yes.
relate? Can you please explain something by relating them, that a higher
Yes.
mind state and an illumined state? What is the state of these witnesses? Please,
Exactly.
Dada.
So when you rise to the first level, you are a witness, Sakshi. At that time, you are only a Sakshi. There is no control over body mind life. Okay? You are completely detached. But as you said, if you go to the element mind level, you become the Anumanta. Okay? And then if you go to a slightly higher level again, you become the Bharta, the supporter of the body mind life. Then the change can come. Slight control can come. So what you are saying again is absolutely correct. Okay? And then you go to the even the intuitive mind and even the over mind, a little more control comes in, but not the full control over the body. Okay? But the control of the mind and the control over the vital can come. Transformation can come. But the total transformation and becoming an absolute instrument of the divine can come only at the supramental level. So what you're saying is right. The rising in consciousness in the level 2, as I said, there is the Srivanga uses the terms higher mind, element mind, intuitive mind, and over mind. There is a slight increase. There is an increase of consciousness even in the level 2. And the Gita puts it in different words. It says Sakshi, Anumanta, Bharta, Jyata, Bhokta, and finally the Master, that is the Ishwar. Okay. So that's exactly what you're saying is correct. So level 1, you are ignorant. Level 2, you are separated from the body mind life. But as you keep climbing in level 2, some amount of control is there. But absolute control and becoming an instrument of the divine at level 3. Okay? So this is in very short the process that Srivanga is described here. Okay? But remember one thing. We have described all these, but these are not absolutely rigid. Okay? There is a lot of flexibility and a lot of combinations and permutations can occur. Different individuals can experience in different ways. But for clarity's sake, we have exactly what we have discussed, level 1, level 2, level 3. Okay? For clarity's sake. But remember, the actual experience can be different for many people. Okay? So, I think we can stop here today, but I don't think we can. Oh, we are in the last paragraph. Okay, let's read it. We got 3 minutes. Sunki can read. Okay?
Yes, I can read.
Go ahead, read the last one. The supreme harmony.
Yes. This supreme harmony cannot come except by the cessation of egoistic will and choice and act and the quiescence of our limited intelligence. The individual ego must cease to strive, the mind falls silent, the desire will learn not to initiate. Our personality must join its source, and all thought and initiation come from above. The secret master of our activities will be slowly unveiled to us, and from the security of the supreme will and knowledge, give the sanction to the divine Shakti, who will do all works in us with a purified and exalted nature for her instrument. The individual center of a personality will be only the upholder of her works here, their recipient and channel, the reflector of her power and luminous participator in her light, joy, and force. Acting it will not act, and acting it will not act. Acting it will not act, and no reaction of the lower prakriti will touch it. The transcendence of the three modes of nature is the first condition. Their transformation, The decisive step of this change, by which the way of works climb out of the pit of the narrowness of our darkened human nature into the unwalled wideness of the truth and light above us.
Yeah. So that what's just we read, acting it will not act. So we'll just finish this next time. Okay, what is meant by acting it will not act? Contradiction. The consciousness is absolutely stable, calm, no movement at all. And the body mind life is acting, but it is acting through the divine will, through this individual self, and the divine will is directly activating the body mind life, but not your soul or your soul has become static. It's only a post office. It comes the divine control or the divine will comes through the soul, and the soul is absolutely static. It goes through and activates the body mind. We'll do this again. There are just a few things to be seen, and then we will go on to the last para, I think, of the. No, sorry, not the last para. There is the master of the work. Who is the master of the work? The Purusha. That means finished. Okay? Au revoir, everybody. Have a nice day.
Au revoir, Ranganath. Bonne journée. Merci beaucoup.
Hello.